What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Podcast. This is episode 243, and I'm joined along with the bearded sultan himself,
Robbie Rolls.
a player named Rawls,
A player named Rolls.
and
Allie.
A player named Allie.
So, if you don't know, each and every week we bring you the Nerd Cave Podcast for your listening and viewing pleasure, whichever format you
doing.
like. You might like the podcast format and go over to iTunes and all the podcast services around the globe. Check it out. It is available on Friday for everybody. But if you don't want to wait, if you just gotta
wait,
you gotta have it on a Monday, you can go over to patreon.com/nerdcave. Check it out there. Toss us a few dollars. Make Robbie.
Oh, it's a sweet one.
And you can get it early for everything. So, how's everybody's week been?
Eventful.
Eventful. You had your bachelor
I
party
had my
last
bachelor
night.
party last night, and
And you're awake.
I'm awake at. I was awake at 8. Well, woke up at 7. I was like, I don't have to be up right now. Went back to sleep. Woke up at 8:30. I'm like, oh, I gotta get going. Last night was really fun. I got to hang out, with you. I got to hang out with, friends that, I've hung out with Marshall. I usually talk to Jack in the group chat. So I got to hang out with, everybody. I don't get to hang out with Hunter and Trevor as much. God bless you, Trevor. You're the biggest trooper I know, dealing with 6 foot, 220-pound baby that is Hunter after he gets white girl wasted. Like, Hunter was literally dancing, and he would get up there and he would someone would be singing, Hunter would get up there and sing with them. He still sounded okay, but when he started, when I was sitting there, like, him, Justice, and I think it was Quentin was up there. They were like, I was like, what? I was like, that is not a good team up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are they about to sing? I was expecting something bad, and all of a sudden I hear, I am unwritten, Natasha Bedingfield. I was like, 3 grown men singing I Am Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. And I mean, what was really cool is, I guess at Cordova Lanes, you don't see a lot of bachelor or bachelorette parties go there, because it's if you look up the definition of dive bar, that's what's in Cordova Lanes. But we've gone there a few times just to do karaoke and everything. So the karaoke DJ lady kind of recognized us, and she was talking, and at some point, I wasn't white girl wasted, but at some point, I invited the bar to the wedding.
No.
I told Holly last night. She thought it was funny. I'm glad she thought it was funny.
I'm glad you thought it was funny.
That's the
Because, like,
first.
it is really funny, but that's definitely one of those, like, it's going to go one way or another.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I did when I got home. I was like, baby. It's
And she's like, what?
I was like,
Like, I can hear, like, what?
I was like, I kind of invited the bar to our wedding. She's like, nobody's gonna show up. But the wedding DJ lady said, she's like, I'm gonna crash your wedding. I'm like, cool. She's like, and like, Will was like, well, at least you didn't tell her the date. I was like, yeah, about that. I was like, said February 18th. I gave her the church. She's like, she put it in her phone. I'm like,
She's gonna show up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and that's the eventful wedding. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a good time. Marshall, God love him, keeps trying.
Don't incriminate anyone, because somebody might want to run for office eventually.
That's fair, that's fair.
Mr. Tomness, we'll call him Mr. Tomness. You know who I'm talking about.
Can't just say his name.
That's not-
Tomness.
That's not
I misunderstood. Okay, never mind.
Mr. Tomness.
I don't think that's a huge stretch from the real thing.
The half goat man, Mr. Tomness,
from Narnia.
with his little scarf, keeps trying to rap, and the more he drinks, the more he thinks he can rap. And Mr. Tumnus, you can't rap. You can't do it. it's not healthy. But I mean, everybody had a good time. I even got up there and sang some Beatles, "Come Together."
Nice.
So we all need to come together
Yeah, right now.
right now.
Over me.
I can dig it. But no, it was just a good time. Got a steak. You know, that was the best part of the night. Besides my friends, and I did get Zach back because for my birthday, I got a card. You open it up, and it was like a Cinderella card.
No, it was a Frozen card, I think.
Ooh, even
No,
better.
It was Cinderella.
Okay,
'cause I
yeah.
had the little
Yeah.
headband. And it was Happy Birthday Princess. So if you looked in Zach's living room, you saw a very prettified Hello Kitty bag.
That's what that was.
So that's what I got him. I got him that little Batman pop figure that's right back there.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, I was like, I know you're not a pop collector, but I was like, you like Batman, and we can use it for the Nerd Cave. So I was like, it's going to be like a dual thing.
Yeah.
Because I totally messed up the birthdays. I have Zach's, who's on the 18th, and another one of my good
It's
friends.
not on the 18th.
The
The 8th.
Your wedding's on the 18th.
I'm getting all my dates messed up. I'm not going to go to the wedding. I'm going to be like, happy birthday, Zach. And we're going to be like, where's Robbie?
You were like everyone in the church, like, hey, you coming?
No, I sent my okay, Zach's is on the 8th. My friend Brett's is on the 14th.
Yeah.
And this year, I got them mixed up. And it was like the 9th. And like I see somebody post a belated birthday on Zach. I was like, why are you doing belated, bro? I was like, it's not even the 14th. And I went and looked, and I was like the 14th, and it was like Brett. And I was like, oh, because I had sent Brett a message saying happy birthday on the 8th. So
I got through the day, and I'm like, the only person that didn't say happy birthday to me that's like close to me, Robbie. I was like, all right, I see you.
Like,
Ducking out
Mark
on
him off
K+.
the Christmas
Don't
list.
say hey to me.
like, I really have no clue how it happened, but I was like, at least you got a funny story out of
Yeah,
it. Like, it wasn't vindictive, or it wasn't anything like that. I love you. You're my root. I just got your birthdays mixed up with somebody else.
Allie, how's your week been?
Tired. Once
Tired.
again, my week has been tired, and so have I. This is like, I said it by accident on one podcast, and I've just been like, yeah, that just kind of describes me as a whole. My week has been tired, and so have I.
The sun's awake, so you need to be awake.
That's nonsense talk. That's nonsense talk right there.
That's Frozen talk. There's no such thing as.
Oh, that's right. That is from Frozen. Unfortunately, that kind of is how my body works. Like, I woke up at like 5 something. I went to bed around midnight. I'm just like, I probably went to bed around 1.
That baby in the sun could be looking at me, and I could fall right back to sleep.
Are you talking about Teletubbies?
That thing is terrifying.
I'll take it from here.
No, like, literally, there's no.
Do we need to put your phone on airplane mode?
I need to. I don't know why Hunter just texted me, but probably I know why Hunter texted me. He's like, "What happened last night?" But yeah, like if the sun's up, it don't matter what time it is. Robbie can go to sleep whenever.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. Amy gets mad about that. Like I could literally right now.
If I wanted,
I could go to sleep.
I don't get how people
Like-
can do that.
Like Holly will wake up and she'd be like, "Well, I guess I need to start the day." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, like you remember before I got down here in Gulf Breeze, like at night I couldn't sleep. I could sleep anytime during the day, but I couldn't sleep. Now it's anytime. I'm just I own you, sleep. I own you.
Like I mean, I've taken control of that too. Like my thing was I could never stay up super late because I had a nickname in high school.
It was 2:00, Robbie. Once 2
Oh
o'clock
yeah, I've
hit,
heard that.
Like,
I've heard that.
You get nothing out of me because I remember we got Halo 3
Yep, Halo 3.
at 12 o'clock.
Yep, in Pensacola because we had to go all the way down to Pensacola because Pace didn't even have a GameStop yet.
Wow.
It was an hour drive from your house. So we got back at about 1 o'clock. We were like, we're skipping school tomorrow. We're feeling ourselves. Well, we're playing. We get an hour into the campaign. I'm like, I'm really tired.
I'm like, you're kidding me.
I was like, I think I pushed on to like 2:30, and I'm like, Zach, I can't.
I considered playing without you and just like finishing the game.
But like it was with that game, it was like with our band trips and everything like that.
Oh yeah,
when we had
anytime
like,
2 o'clock hits.
Like
I remember staying over at your house, like we're playing Rock Band. 2 o'clock hit, you were over there. You had a guitar in your hand in your bed, and you were just asleep.
There was like we were at Vortex Springs. It was like me, Jake, Luke, Derek, and I was in the back seat. We were driving home from Wendy's, and like we was like 150. We were like, whoa, we were going crazy. We were having fun, and I remember at like 1:59, Jake was on my left and Luke was on my right, and they gave me like the worst purple nurple I've ever had in my life. And literally, I was like, ah! And then the next thing I go. I was
so
like,
you're like the Cinderella of sleep.
I was like narcoleptic. Like I was like 2 o'clock come, no matter how much pain I was in, I was like,
you're like, I'll sleep it off.
How was your week?
It was extremely busy from after school rehearsals and everything, but the bands are sounding better than they ever have.
That's
so
good.
I'm excited for that. And then Friday was just a glorious day. I took the day off. I needed some TLC.
Glorious.
I just needed some TLC, so I played Assassin's Creed for about 6 hours.
It's a good game.
I think that's what I'm gonna do today. Is get back on the Assassin's Creed.
I'm almost done, and I'm enjoying it. I've gotten to the point where I will go into camps, and I know this is video games, so I'll probably talk more about this on Nerd K Plus, which you should check out on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7-ish. I'm not even going to say 7 o'clock at this point in time, because like Thursday when I had rehearsal, it was also my birthday. It was just like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do this. And then like I was sitting in the bathroom and I was like, I've got to do this. I've started this. I've got to be consistent. And it was about 7:30 and I cranked it up. But it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
You could have told me you were going to do it later than 7, because I got out at like 6:30, 6:35.
Look at that mic, boy.
And I could have.
And I like that.
So I mean, I could have came out, but I mean, at least the episode's out.
Yeah.
I was real busy that night.
But yeah, it was just really busy. But then I played. But I'll go into camps and like, if they're lower level than me, like by like 5 or whatever levels, I'll just massacre them. I'll just go in there, like I'll pick a few off, but then like eventually like they'll start like catching on. So then they'll like just like come in droves, and I'm just like, I'm just like Edward Scissors hands them, and it's awesome. I love it.
It's a good game.
But yeah, it's really, really fun, and we went to your bachelor party last night, and that's about it, really. I played Shadow of the Colossus, and I'll talk more about that on Nerd K Plus.
It looks
but it's
beautiful.
Fantastic.
It looks beautiful.
That is also a really good game.
Fantastic.
I just got word in on Hunter. He is alive, and I don't know how much of this is exaggeration, but he said he just woke up naked in a shed.
I think that's exaggeration.
It's
you
Hunter.
know how you know
It's
how
Hunter.
Like
So, but I just thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious where he bought drinks for everyone, and then when he got his bill, he's like, "What the crap?" It's just like, "This is your fault." You're like, "Verbals for these people."
Yeah, I will. That's one thing you won't see me do is be like, "Oh, let me buy you around." I'm like,
I thought it was absolutely hilarious that him and Justice both got Blue Angels.
They got this drink. They're like, "Oh, Blue Angels. That sounds pretty,
manly."
And then they come out with this like pretty blue,
It's like a girly looking
super
drink.
girly. And Hunter's like, I don't even know what to do. So he started taking the stuff
He's
off.
like, I ain't drinking that. And March was like,
I'll drink it.
Yeah. Like, who cares what it looks like? If it's a drink, it's a drink.
They said
right?
it was probably the best drink they've ever had.
From what I have heard, a lot of things like stereotypically like girly drinks tend to be like way better because they put more like flavor and stuff into it.
But Hunter started taking the lemon, and they're like, "You think taking that out's gonna make it any less girly?"
I just thought that was hilarious. Where Marge was like, "Oh,
I'll drink it."
Like it was just like, I ain't gonna drink it. I'll just pay to let it sit there. And Marge just kind of like, I'll drink it.
He's like,
I mean, if you're not going to.
Oh, so let's get into it this week.
What is there to get into this
well,
week?
I finished. We'll get into that, but I finished Gravity Falls this week.
oh, the show.
Yes.
I need to
I
start it.
finished it last week.
No, I finished it this week.
Oh.
I was almost done last week.
Get your facts straight.
We're lucky that I'm at least like 10% mentally here right now. Physically, no. I mean, physically, yes. Mentally, no. I got it backwards.
You're just a floating.
I finished it. I cried like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
My God, that show will wreck you.
I have not personally seen the ending, but I know what happens. So
Is it a This Is Us?
I have no idea what that is.
I don't know. I watched one episode with Holly. Apparently, it's like the saddest show in existence.
No, the saddest show in existence is Firefly because it never came back.
That's true. That is sad.
But it's great. You need to watch it. The story is amazing. If you like, it does, like, it's not like Doctor Who, but it's like Doctor Who in a lot of ways where there's always like different things going on, but there's like one big arc. That's taking place. I'm talking about Matt Smith timeline where, you know, had like the crack in space and everything, and everything just kind of like played into that.
Okay.
Same thing here, and it is fantastic. And me and Amy has just started rewatching it because there's ciphers at the end of every episode.
Yeah, it's very Illuminati.
Yeah, and
I
like
love
at the
it's
very
like aesthetic.
Yeah, the very end, it'll like the first 6 episodes are using like the Caesar cipher, and like it's like a bunch of letters, and like you go so many letters over to figure out what it actually is saying.
Yeah, each letter actually means a different letter.
Yeah, it's really cool because actually Caesar used that in his correspondence back in the day. So we're doing that right now, trying to figure everything out.
Yeah, I went through and did a few myself. They're really fun.
Yeah. So, but the end was just, whew, it
hit you.
It hit me. Like there was a part that happened. I'm not going to spoil it because I don't want you to miss out on anything. And I was just like, oh my! Like I was just like, how is this going to, you know? But
I think I know what part you're talking about.
Yeah, and then the very end, like when it wraps up the whole season, I'm just like, there's nothing now.
Yeah.
You know,
those are always the worst.
I
the
remember
worst feelings ever.
When the show ended, Alex Hirsch, the creator, people were like, "No, bring it back," and he was like, "The plan." Actually, I think even Disney was like, "Keep making more," and he was like, "No, like the plan was to do like their summer there, and that's it. Like that's the show. I'm done."
Yeah.
And like I really love that because a lot of creators like, and this isn't to bash other creators, you know, it's just some creators are like, okay, well, yeah, we can find a way to, you know, extend this, keep it going. But he was like, no, like this is what I saw, this is what I had planned.
Yeah.
And like it's done. Like I don't need to do anything else to it.
Yeah, because like when they do that, they extend it, it gets diluted. Like you look at
some shows do well, some shows do not. Most shows do not.
And you look at Game of Thrones, like it's been okay since they've got past the books, but you definitely could tell that it's got more fan servicey as it's gone along. And that never felt. I never felt that from Gravity Falls. Like it was all planned out the whole way through.
Yep.
Who's your favorite character?
Who's my favorite? Oh man, that's
John
a tough
Morrison.
one.
I don't like you.
I don't know.
Mr. Morrison.
What's the oh my gosh, what's the blonde girl's name?
Oh, Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, like I love her character development.
Yeah.
Like that one's really great. I don't know. I love all of them in different ways.
Yeah.
They're all really good characters.
Like bringing her up, even like this snotty girl had character development.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Cartoons, like when you have that snotty person,
like they stay snotty. And so I remember I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be that. And then like she shows up and she's like, hey, I need your guys' help with something. And then all of a sudden like you see like a different side of her. And you're like, oh, development.
Yeah. I love that Mark Hamill was in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think my favorite I really love Seuss.
Yeah, Seuss is really good.
Seuss is like, and his character development. Oh my lord,
so good. He because they did some like extra stuff, and so it was like Seuss's podcast. I think it might have been like a one-off thing or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't watched like the little mini episodes yet. That's something I need.
The
to do.
Seuss's podcast thing, because like I heard it. I don't know, it was online or something, and it was super super funny. Because like at one point he's talking to Stan, and he's like what would you do if one of your employees accidentally used the break room as the bathroom? And then Stan's like, that's really weird. You didn't. You'd like it's not exactly like that, but it's something like that. And it was super funny. I love the fact that like you don't think about it, but the fact that Alex Hirsch does so many of the voices.
Really?
Oh yeah. He does. Who else does he do? I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to embarrass myself.
He's not the one that does Rick and Morty, is he?
No. That's
somebody else.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's like this whole fan theory that
yeah, I've seen that.
Stanford spends time with them or something like that.
What is that guy's name?
I don't remember.
It's yeah, that's gonna bother me. Oh well.
Seuss is really good. I like Dipper, but Dipper is like that selfish character majority of the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's at the same time, it's kind of like it makes sense because he's like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like it makes sense.
Mabel is just great.
Oh, I love Mabel.
Mabel's just great. I like Stan. Like his character development, why he did things and everything makes sense. But he's also like he won't let things go at the same time.
I thought he did more voices.
I like the get 'em guy.
Okay.
The get 'em.
Oh yeah,
get 'em.
I quote that all the time.
It's great. And Panther shirt, Puma shirt,
Panther shirt, Puma shirt. He does. I know he does like a lot of the extra voices. He might do it for Bill. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he does Stan and Seuss.
Okay. Yeah.
Double check that. Okay, it's one of those like I'm pretty sure, but then part of me's like, but what if you're wrong? And I'm like, I don't want to seem like a fool. Yes, it's Seuss. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite moments, like when I was like, okay, this show is going to be great. It's where they're looking for like a murderer or something like that. I can't remember what it was. I think it was the second episode. And
the wax museum thing.
Yeah. And they go to the bar, and it's Wendy's dad actually, and he's like doing like the punching thing or whatever. He's like, so what were you doing at this time? He was like, I was punching the clock. And they're like, so you're at work? He was like, no, I was punching that clock. And like it has a clock, and like it has like this huge fist in it, like shape. It's just like it's so good, and there's so many hidden things.
Yeah, there are.
That's the great thing. Like if you look really closely, you'll see characters that you don't know hidden throughout the episodes.
Yeah.
And like you'll see things happening in the background, like if you really pay attention.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of stuff like that. It's a really fun show. I really like it.
Yeah. And it's for everybody. Yeah. Like it does get like
it's a kid show.
I think you can once it gets later in the show, it does get a little bit more heavy, but it is still a kid show, but it is fantastic, and I think everybody should watch it.
I remember I had a similar experience because like it was back whenever Korra was only going to be like the one season thing.
Yeah.
I remember like people like, oh yeah, it's Korra, but they definitely did it for the people who watched Last Airbender as like growing up. Like that's who that show was made for. And I remember like it was like the very last episode, spoilers I guess, whenever what's his face, he like electrocutes the boat and explodes them.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what? This is on Nickelodeon. What? Like we just watched like a guy like commit suicide and like kill like I mean like it was really heavy, and I was like
yeah, I never really got into Korra.
I watched
the Airbender.
I watched the first season. First season's really good. I started watching the second season and I never finished it because like it was like the community surrounding it started getting really annoying, and also the writing started to fall through a little bit. But from what I saw, the ending was really cool. It was really good.
Yeah.
They had like I know they had really cool villains showing that like each because like everyone always associated firebending as evil and everyone else was good. But like they showed like no, there is a dark side to each bender.
Yeah.
Like there's the blood bending, and then one of them, it was like there was an airbender who could literally like suck the breath out of someone's lungs,
I love that. I want that.
which was like, it was really dark, but it was really cool. So
Could you imagine if a band director or a choral director was an airbender? You could just like put air in people's lungs.
that
so
would
they
be
never have to
so
breathe.
good, especially on that Bogoro piece we're doing right now. By the end of it, I'm like,
So you never have to worry about phrasing. You're just like,
oh, that would be.
Everybody worries with phrasing, but not anymore. That's exact.
The game's changed.
like his conducting style doesn't match the music. But
That's
they
why- that's why
never
you-
take a breath.
That's why you would have to like make your bending like match with your conducting.
That would be awesome.
I would be
do that.
incredible if someone could write a story about that. Thank you, Michael and Brian. I'm looking at you.
Michael Bay. I wanna.
No, Michael Bay needs to stay away from it. Michael and Brian are the only people who know how to handle that franchise.
So speaking of Michael Bay, did y'all see the news?
About oh my God, what movie was it?
He's being tapped to direct Lobo.
Oh yeah.
Lobo.
Lobo is a bounty hunter in the DC universe.
Oh, okay.
He's a very interesting character.
Very.
Okay. Do some
Personally,
research.
I think Michael Bay actually might do well with this character because it's a lot of explosions, a
It
lot of
is.
dumb stuff.
It's so dumb. Like, I saw it pop up, and at first I was like, Michael Bay, and then I was like,
Michael Bay.
and I was like, Michael Bay.
Like with Lobo, it works.
Yeah.
Other
but
things he should never touch.
Yeah, there's things that Michael Bay can do well, and
And
there's things,
explosions.
yeah, and if it's especially a superhero character that is very explosive.
Yeah, and one-liners.
Oh my, yeah, I mean, I think Michael Bay is full of those.
Yeah.
So I think done right, and follow the script of kind of what Lobo is, as long as he doesn't go off script of.
And
I think he'll
that's
be
the
fine.
thing is like it's hard to go off script with Lobo because he's kind of like all over the place. Like he's a crazy
Yeah.
bounty hunter. So I think he actually will do well. And I don't know if y'all saw this is also they're wanting to do a one-off Joker movie,
I did see that.
but Jared Leto.
I know
isn't
that he's
gonna
not
be
getting cast again.
They're
Who are they looking at?
they're
Oh,
looking
just wait.
at Joaquin Phoenix.
Ooh.
The movie's like lip sync is going to be off the whole time.
I can't stand.
I watched Her. Really good movie. The whole time I was like, "What's wrong with my TV?" like,
It's
there's something with like the
it's
way
Joaquin.
he speaks or whatever. I don't like. I think he has the chops to do it because he's been nominated several times for an Oscar,
Yeah.
and he's a really good actor. And he's said that he would do it, but WB hasn't like confirmed
Sure.
and locked it down and everything. What are y'all thoughts? Would y'all want Joaquin as the Joker?
I can see it. Like I said, like that's my biggest downfall with him is just the way the words form on his mouth.
Yeah.
But like every movie that I've seen him in, whether it's Signs, whether it's Walk the Line, I really like him as an actor.
Yeah.
So I think that he could do it, and I think he can do it well because anytime he gets a role, like he dives extremely deep into it. He thoroughly studies that character, and he becomes that character. I don't think it's going to be as like method as like Heath Ledger was.
Yeah.
But like I still think that he could be one of the really, really good Jokers.
And also, it's not. It's going to be one of those things where like it's not going to be hard to look good, especially after Jared Leto.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
And
say so.
what gets me is
I'm
they still
sorry.
want Jared Leto in the main universe. So this is like because DC's pretty much
So dumb.
shifted into now making like one-off movies,
Yeah.
which is totally fine.
Yeah.
I think that's going to work really well for
Yeah.
DC. That way they're not having to worry about building a universe because they've just finished building a universe, and sometimes it was a really good job, and
One
sometimes it
moment.
was a miss completely.
me.
You know, and you look at Suicide Squad, that was a miss,
Yeah.
but it won an
I
Oscar.
went. My friend and I watched it a couple weeks ago. We went in with like negative expectations, and I think that because our expectations were lower than we ever could have hoped for, we were pleasantly surprised. in a way. Like it was better than we thought it was going to be.
Yes, but
No, it was terrible.
Your
was so bad.
expectations were nothing. So
Yes, exactly. And again, like our biggest thing was like every part with Jared Leto's Joker was we were like, if they cut this out of the movie, it would be like perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Minus some of the awful like Hot Topic cringe lines. Those were bad too.
Yeah, I mean, there was your
And some of the
good
acting.
and your bad, and there's some parts that I thoroughly enjoyed of Suicide Squad, but there were.
When that guy's head blew up.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie's awesome stunt in the elevator. She did that herself when she like flipped upside down in those heels in the elevator.
I don't even remember that part.
I don't know. She's in an elevator and she has heels on. She flips upside. She like runs on the wall and flips upside down, and it's very impressive. And she did it herself.
That's cool.
It's very cool.
Good for her.
Like, I mean, there was good acting. I mean, when you have but my big
Will Smith
as Will Smith.
Yeah,
That's-
really.
That's what I was about to say. I wasn't saying Will Smith. Will Smith is a very good actor
Mm-hmm.
when he plays himself. I can't. I'm like, okay, this guy reminds me of all the other types of characters that Will Smith has played.
Yeah.
I Am Legend. This reminds me of, well, not Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but
iRobot.
iRobot. Like anytime he's in one of those really big action movies, that's what it reminds me of.
The only time he like played somebody different is Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pursuit of Happiness was very, very different.
And 7 Pounds.
Never watched it.
You don't. You'll.
7 pounds.
I left the theater like crying.
Is that the one where he like gets the letters from the different like emotions or something, or is that a different one?
No,
this is where he like gives like his like kidney and like all this kind of stuff.
Oh, I did not know
like,
that was
he
a
did,
movie.
He did something very bad, and like I think he killed somebody. Spoiler alert! And like he
This
falls.
movie was like 12 years old.
Exactly. And he like
Not
falls
that
in.
old, but it's old.
He falls in love with I think it's Night Nurse.
Oh. Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson.
I made that as a joke. I knew who it was.
But he falls
sure.
in love with her,
That would
and
be hilarious if it was Rosie O'Donnell.
oh my gosh, he's in the
Heath Ledger.
Han Solo movie. No,
Danny Glover.
he was
Donald Glover.
He was
no
playing Han Solo.
Winston Churchill.
Winston
Woody
Churchill.
Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
I'm just
Winston Churchill.
I keep forgetting he's
But
in the
like-
Han Solo movie.
And Woody Harrelson was in it and everything like that. He was a blind piano player, but like
give him his eyes.
after the end of the movie, like he loved Rosario Dawson. You were killing me.
Rosario Dawson.
Yes, I almost called her Donald. But he gave her his heart. He gave him his eye. And like, and like, it was super sad. Left you scratching your brain at the end, and you were in tears.
Yeah. So speaking of Han Solo, have y'all watched the Han Solo trailer?
Yes.
Nope. I saw it was loud, and I was like, I need to watch that, and then I didn't.
Sidebar.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by the trailer. I mean, it looks good, but will it be good?
Yeah.
That is the question. Because I remember we've talked in the past about, the directors of this movie got canned because of how funny it was, and then we had
Ron Howard step in to salvage the project.
well, you also had The Last Jedi be what we thought was too funny at times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I could only imagine what if they got rid of those cats for making this too funny, how this actually was.
I feel like they could get away with more for being Han Solo because he was always kind of, the sort of comic relief character.
Snappy one-liners and all of that.
So they could get away with more, but they'd have to be very careful about it.
But I mean, it has a very good cast. Like that's one thing that I like. I like the cast. I like the diversity of the cast. I think they are all really good actors. Woody Harrelson's great.
Danny Glover.
Childish Gambino.
Danny Glover. You got Emily Clark.
Oh yeah, I just saw her pop up, and I was like, oh, I didn't know she was in this movie.
Yeah, you got Emily Clark in there.
What was with the weird metal dude?
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
Like I said, there's going to be things that we don't know anything about.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
yeah.
This is.
The-
It looks like the Falcon's redesigned. I don't like that.
They can't resign. They can't redesign it too much though. Like,
Well, you got to think this is pre
But that's what I'm saying.
Is
It's
probably
like
when he first got it. When it was
I'm
just
saying, but
regular.
they can't make it look too different. Like, I mean, they can make it look newer, maybe a little, shinier.
Yeah, it looks
but
clean. Like, it looks absolutely
Well,
clean.
you gotta think this is probably right after he got it from Lando. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a modified. Was it a T3 freighter?
I can't remember the number. It's a Corellian freighter.
Yeah, but like, cause he's even in some of the books, when he won it off of Lando, he's like, I was hoping you wouldn't pick my, heavily modified freighter,
Yeah.
and then he's like, yeah, well, we ended up taking a lot of that stuff out and fixing it ourselves. So I mean, they can even play it off of that.
That's true.
That they, this is the stock freighter.
I doubt that they've read those books.
also, none of the books are canon anymore.
Well, but I'm just saying.
I
Like,
know, but
it's going to
Yeah.
look different from when he first got it to where they are in like the last
sure,
Jedi.
sure.
yeah. I'm curious to see what his relationship is with Emily Clark's character.
Yeah, like she popped up, and I was like, first of all, I don't know she's in this movie, and then
Is it Amelia Clark?
Amelia Clark.
Yeah, sorry, Emily Clark.
Amelia Earnhardt.
Yep.
Rosie O'Donnell.
But Glover looks really, really cool as Lando. Like, I really
Yeah.
like the design they have for him.
Yeah.
He was just like
Really
standing
good.
there, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm more excited for him than I am for Einreich.
Is that his
That's
name?
Han Solo.
Heinrich.
Like,
He looks okay.
he doesn't look like Han Solo at all. Like,
Hey,
he
no,
just
they-
looks like young guy that is white with brown hair.
Oh, sure.
Like
sure.
I don't know. Like, a lot of people are hating on this. Like, they are not excited. They are ticked off, and I think they're just assuming that it's going to be bad. I'm assuming that it's going to be a fairly good movie.
I'm gonna go
it's
in
gonna be
assuming
enjoyable.
I'll go in assuming it's decent. If it's not, then I'll be disappointed and I'll be sad.
Like,
But-
I'm excited to see the relationship between Han and Chewie because this is when we see
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is when we see the life debt.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they're going to like make this story work because there's a lot to Han Solo's
Unless, like,
story.
It's like I know, like, it was back when they like first announced it. They were saying like this is when he gets the name Han Solo
Yeah,
or something like that.
Han the boogie.
I do love that he is trying to be a naval pilot. Like that's in the trailer and everything, that he is wanting to be a pilot, and he goes to the Naval Academy, the Empire's Naval Academy. I love that. I love that they kept that into the story. I'm curious to see how the rest of it plays out.
Yeah.
You know, what is this job that Woody Harrelson is trying to get him to do? How does he get the Falcon? How does he meet Chewie? You know, what's his relationship with Lando? Is it a good relationship? And then that happens. Do they win it in a gambling thing? You know, how do they do that?
After he lost the.
They hated each other.
Lando wanted
That-
to kill Solo.
I feel like it'll start off with like they're on good terms, and then they'll have he gets the Falcon, and then they hate each other, and they'll split. It'll be cool though, because like they'll definitely, because this is supposed to be like the dice that they had, like in the Falcon for Last Jedi. Like that's the dice he used to get it right.
Sabacc is not a dice game.
Oh well,
so
they were dice.
Because I'm about to say I read that somewhere too, but then like I forgot that he did play Sabacc.
Yeah, he played Sabacc for the Falcon.
Well,
and it's a very confusing card game.
yeah.
Whatever those dice are, I'm sure that they will address it because they focused on it so much.
Yeah, and
Like I understand why. Like they kind of played it off. Like if they don't address it, how they focused on it. But I could see them adding it into that movie.
Han was always lucky. Like Han was lucky. He wasn't like force sensitive or anything, but he was always like very lucky on anything that he did. So in my mind, it would be him. That's just a showing of his luck.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Now, what if we go into this movie and it's not Sabacc that he won the Falcon, and it was on?
I don't remember him in the movies. I don't think they say.
I don't
that
remember
he,
if they specified or not.
Lost it in a Sabacc game. Maybe they did. If they did say that, and fact check this here. If they did say it, then that's a problem with me.
Yeah.
That's a continuity error.
Yeah.
But I think they'll handle it well, and I'm curious to see how Ron Howard transitioned to the sci-fi world, because he's always been more of a, more grounded and rooted movies and
Yeah.
everything. But the thing that I think is most curious about it, it's coming out in May and not December.
Yeah. I saw it was like
I-
this summer, and I was like, what?
I was very, surprised because sometimes they're like, oh, coming out at this time, but then ultimately we know it gets pushed back to December.
Well, it's since all of them are slated to come out in May, and then they've all been pushed to December since Force Awakens. This is the first one that hasn't been done. It's May. It's May 28th. I want to say it is
somewhere around there.
Yeah, and I thought that was very curious.
I don't know what they're doing, but I mean,
because and it's a Star Wars story, but Rogue One even came out in
December.
I'm curious if it's because they are so concerned about people not liking it, especially. One of two things. They want it by putting it in the summer. They try to distance it from the rest of the franchise in case it does do poorly. Mm-hmm. Option two, because of the horrible backlash. No, not horrible, but because of the backlash that came from Last Jedi. If they think it's going to do well, they want to put it out sooner to put Star Wars back in a positive light.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. And with Disney, people, if it tanks, okay, let's hope that it doesn't tank. If it tanks, it coming out in the summer. Infinity War. Is it Infinity War coming out this year as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
I think Infinity War is coming out this year.
Maybe.
Yes. I'm going to say it's coming out this year. That will help Disney's numbers right there.
Yeah.
And I think Ant-Man's coming out this summer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes no sense why 2 superhero movies are coming out.
Because it's Disney, they can do what they want. Okay, it's just telling me what we already know. I was trying to see if they said it in the movie or not. It doesn't say. But it is a YT 1300F light freighter.
Okay. I used to know all of those things.
That is too.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
So
Or Wikipedia.
there's actually possibly 3 because Black Panther is coming out this week.
Yeah.
Essentially, when this episode is out.
I can't wait for that. That movie looks so good. I mean, I've always enjoyed Black Panther as a character.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so interesting. He's king of Wakanda. He has all the vibranium that you could possibly want. Makes these super cool weapons.
Yeah.
And I mean,
He was
a cool
cool
dude.
in Captain Civil War.
Yes.
He was in
Yeah,
Civil
he was. It was a really good introduction for his character.
Yeah, I thought it was really good and definitely set up his character arc and everything. Personally, I probably won't go see it opening night. I haven't watched pretty much any superhero movie opening night other than Justice League in a while.
For me, it's usually I know they come out on Thursday and stuff. It's usually a Saturday before I go and see them. Because I just know if I'm going on a work night, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
It's one of the, I want to go see it opening night. It'll just depend on if I have school stuff or not, because I don't know.
Yeah. And Thursdays now is Nerdcade Plus, so it just solidifies that I'm not going to go watch it that night.
Yeah.
But
I should know.
it looks like it's going to be really good. I'm excited that majority of the cast is a full African American cast.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we've really seen a big blockbuster movie actually go ahead with that and not hinge it on a white star.
Yeah.
I know, cause there's been a little bit of backlash. Or oh, it's not been like that. We've had Blade and stuff like that, but you got to think Blade may have been the focal point of that movie. But
You had Ryan Reynolds and you had a ton of other people in
yeah,
it.
but you had a lot of other white characters who had prominent parts, like the guy who found Blade and trained him. I can't ever remember the old guy's name.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Not Rosie. But he had huge
Williams.
parts. I mean, we can call him Hank. Hank, why do you drink? But no, but there's been characters like that in those movies. But this one is
full-fledged.
Yeah, 100%.
And I love that because it's showing that, hey, we can move past what Hollywood has done for years and it's not being whitewashed.
Yeah.
Marvel is doing a really good job of, putting forth the effort to make this happen and to be in Wakanda. That's what it has to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it needs to be. Now, it's been absolutely interesting, and we can either skip this or talk about it. But have y'all seen the utter it doesn't make any sense to me where people are saying that if you're white, you shouldn't go watch it opening weekend.
It's dumb. I have seen that. Like people posting about it on Facebook.
That if you're white, you should let all the black people go watch it first, and then you watch it the next weekend.
Why?
I don't understand that at all.
I mean,
I want to support this movie
exactly.
To show Hollywood this is something that is sustainable. This is trust people.
Like I just don't understand why.
It's got to be about race.
I was about to say, why do we have to keep separating stuff over what color we are?
Yeah.
If it's a movie I like and I think it's going to be good, I'm going to go see it.
Yeah.
I don't care, what color the cast are. If it's a good movie, I'm going to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is going to be a great movie. I know it is coming out on, Black History Month and stuff like that, but shouldn't we be celebrating it as a nation, not as, let's celebrate it as, black people go first to watch it and then we go second? I mean, why? Let's all celebrate it together.
Yeah. Allie, what do you think?
I mean, we can never put ourselves in that kind of position to understand that. I'm not saying I agree. I understand the rationale of it's the idea of a bunch of white people win and then they got the tickets. Well, there's a bunch of kids who might want to go see that who are like, oh, look, there's a superhero who looks like me, know. And I understand, I believe that that's where the rationale is coming from. It's
from some people I could see that.
And for other people, it's what I can't speak for everybody. Nor do I want to. I agree with what you guys are saying about let's celebrate it as a whole. It's one of those things where it's I want to go see it opening because it's also one of those things where a lot of people, this not white, black, any race, have the idea that whenever a predominantly, this applies to any race, whenever a movie of a predominantly particular race aside from white, just because that there's whatever, that it mostly caters to that audience, and therefore, so for example, Black Panther, the people, I think that one thing that would harm the thing that people are trying to say is that by having, so a lot of people are thinking it's Black Panther will only cater to black people, and it's a bunch of other movies that have come out have it caters predominantly to that kind of race audience, and then when they do that, a lot of movie execs are well, this only appeals to that audience. We want it to appeal to everybody, and so things like that tend to fall by the wayside. I can't remember what movie it was. There was a movie that came out sometime in the last 3 years or so. Sure. It was a predominantly black cast, and actually might not have been all black cast. I don't remember. But it was a predominantly black audience that went to go see it. And because of that, movie execs were like, well, let's not do that again because we want all the white people to come see it too. And so, I'm trying to choose my words very carefully. I'm not trying to be like
I understand. It's a sensitive subject.
I think that that's complete nonsense. There should absolutely be more movies with predominantly other races than white people, because guess what? There's more races than white in the world. So I can understand at least one rationale of why people are saying to do that. But I don't think it's necessarily right. But again, that's just me. I'm a white girl. I don't know. That's just from what I am understanding and what I'm seeing. It seems like it should, everybody should go see it to support this movie, and to show that yes, casts like this do work. Make more of it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go see it probably opening weekend. I'm gonna go see it opening weekend. So I've been doing decent.
You've been okay.
I said decent. That's okay.
For me, I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to support it, and I hope you do as well. And I think it will be one of the better Marvel movies,
I agree.
in my opinion. And I'm excited for it. I'm glad that Disney and Marvel has set up a character that can show that there's more than just white people that can be superheroes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember back when they were doing like promo pics for it and stuff, people were saying like there were different aspects of different like African cultures that were actually represented in the movie. Like there's
That's awesome.
there's like different types of jewelry, the different types of like tattoos and stuff where like people were like comparing it to like actual different African tribes. And I was like, that's so cool that there's like, I mean, I hope it doesn't come off as a like, this happens a lot whenever Western movies try to represent Asian cultures, where it's just kind of like, well, let's take some of this and some of that and put it all together. I hope that's not what it turns out to be.
Yeah.
From what I've seen and what I've seen other people see, it seems like it's, you know, it's represented well.
Well thought out.
Yes.
That it's not just a hodgepodge.
Yeah, it's not just a hodgepodge. It's actually like, yes, look, this is significant to this and all that stuff. So I hope that's what it comes out to be, because if so, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Now, one thing, because I know we're winding down, something big has happened in the Power Rangers universe
I saw
that I want to talk about real quick. And I thought it was really cool how Jason David Frank kind of narrated the trailer for it. But we have a new comic run,
Dude.
We have a new comic run that's going to be coming out sometime within the next. I can't remember who.
Right, EW.
But what the idea of this new run is the Green Ranger in a different
best Ranger.
In a different. Well, he's not technically the Green Ranger. He's like the White and Green Ranger formed together. Lord Draconis.
Yeah.
But he's in a different universe. Him and Rita Repulsa has taken over that world, and he's defeated all the Rangers there. So now he is coming to this universe, and he will not only be fighting the original Rangers with Tommy Oliver that turned good, but they'll be fighting like Power Rangers Zeo, like all the different timelines of Rangers as well. So you see him like holding the Red Ranger's like helmet and like it's like cracked and everything like that.
Got blood on it, like it has like in his
It's
hands.
very graphic looking.
Yeah.
I've read a few books, comic books and stuff of the Rangers. I never finished a run because some of them are just not great. Like there was one, like the one I liked the most was where the Rangers met.
Yeah, they had a crossover with the
Justice League.
Yeah,
that one was really cool. But I think this one's going to be my favorite. Like I am so hyped to read it because like it's just it's so cool seeing like even just the way Lord Draconis looks. Like he's
like it's a combination of the white and green.
It's the white, but he still has like all the features that the Green Ranger had, like the
big chest plate
and like the little
shoulders.
pieces, and they're all green. And like, so I think he looks freaking awesome. But I also am just excited to see him take on all the Rangers. Like, are all the Rangers going to team up into like one timeline? Like, are they able to, you know, go back and forth too, or is he going to pick them off one squad at a time?
You know, I'd pick them off one at a time.
Is it that?
No,
Also, it is it is Boom.
Boom. Okay, that's what I thought.
Boom with the exclamation point.
Boom Studios, or Boom, whatever it is. I'm excited for it. I'm glad that Power Rangers is doing more and more things to like make itself relevant in these days, because I know it's kind of went by the wayside. You know, we had that movie, and I finally watched the movie, and it was trash.
Oh no.
So
I never saw it.
Sorry if you like that movie. It just wasn't enjoyable.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
I
He
do
doesn't
too.
look like Tom.
I like his flowing hair.
His flowing mane.
He's got flowing mane.
So, you got any more on?
No, I'm very excited. Like we just saw the picture. Last one we saw, he had the helmet on and everything, and this one he has it off. Like he just doesn't even resemble what we know as Tommy Oliver. Yeah. So I'm excited to read it.
He's got the long hair.
Yeah,
He's got beautiful hair.
Yeah, like if I was a Power Ranger, I would want short hair.
Oh yeah,
like,
no.
That long hair would like push you like in the front of the mask, and like every time you put it on, you'd have to like, okay, I gotta get my hair up. I gotta,
Yeah,
that would be
it's
annoying.
a whole ordeal.
Well,
I would only do the long hair if I could have some kind of enchantment where like it ought to like it's all good, it's all like nice and tucked in, but when I take it off, then like, because that's why they have long hair, is for the dramatic effect when they take the helmet off and the hair flows in the wind.
The people that you see in the costumes aren't the same people who are playing.
Shh, don't ruin the illusion.
Yeah, because all the stunts and everything are done in Japan, and then all of the action
Don't
stuff.
ruin the illusion.
The storyline stuff is done. Like, that would be like, I'm sorry, if I was a Power Ranger, I would want to be like
The face.
Like, I would want to do the face, but I'd also want to do like.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like it's like I thought you were saying like if you were a Power Ranger doing the stunt, you would want to be the face.
Yeah, like I want to get paid for this.
I mean, you are getting paid for it.
I'm just reminded that's one of the times.
Like, I want to get paid as a face, not
a
stunt person.
Because everybody who has done these parts are trained in, karate, jujitsu, what. Mm-hmm. But I remember Fanaticon, the guy who played Johnny Adam, he was the second Black Ranger. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was at one of his panels, and he was telling the story of how when he was driving from his house to work, every day he saw this homeless person on the side of the road. And, his heart would hurt for that person. He wanted to help that person. Mm-hmm. Well, he had been saving up, so he had like this bag of like coins that he had tied, and he was like, okay, today's the day I'm gonna, give him this big, bag of coins. Well, he was getting ready to stop because what the red light had changed. He's like, I'm a ninja. I'm gonna gently ninja throw the bag of coins at him. It hits him in the head, and all the coins go in there. And he's like, oh my gosh, I just killed the guy. So
that's so sad.
He ended up stopping and walking back to make sure he didn't kill the homeless guy with his coins.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
It was just so funny.
Was the guy okay?
Oh yeah, he was fine. Like,
he just gave it his own money.
Like, it was just the way he was like. He's like, I'm just going to softly, because he was standing up. He's like, I'm going to softly, like, ninja throw. And he's like, then I almost killed the guy.
Oh, well, there you go, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the podcast this week. You can go over to our sponsor, patreon.com/nerdcave.com. Get everything early. This Monday, Nerd Caves and Dragons' first episode will be up on Patreon. So if you want to get it a week early, throw $1, mate. Robbie.
Holla, it's a sweet one.
Allie, are you ready for Nerd Caves and Dragons?
I am.
Let's get down
Your
to
DM's
business.
very tired. I'm really excited for you guys to get into this next part.
Pandabot.
Just because you guys are getting to a place where it's like in an RPG, like you make it to the first town. There's a bunch of side quests. Like that's where you guys are right now. So
okay. Is there a dragon? Dungeons.
He's not even talking to his mic. Everybody, go over to patreon.com. Get everything early. Support us. Make everything happen. We appreciate our Patreon producer, Caleb Palmer, for going over there, as well as all of our other Patreon sponsors. We appreciate you greatly. We hope you enjoyed episode 243 of the Nerd Cave podcast. This has been Zach.
Robbie.
And Allie.
Have a blessed week.